Hi everyone, today I'm talking about INFJs and INFPs and soulmates. This is a really big topic. I get emails on this topic all the time from INFJs and INFPs. I've taught classes on it before. I've taught entire workshops on INF personality types and soulmates. So this is something that a lot of INFJ and INFP personality types really struggle with and really have a lot of problems around, is this idea of soulmates. Now, first I will say that a lot of INFJs and INFPs meet multiple soulmates over the course of their lifetime. That seems to be pretty frequent for us, a pretty common occurrence. So if you are an INFJ or an INFP personality type and you've met more than one person who you felt was a soulmate, please know that is normal. If you are happily partnered with someone, but yet you still feel like you've also met someone else who could be a potential soulmate, or you definitely know they're a soulmate, please rest your mind easy on that. That doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with your primary relationship, or that you need to part ways from the partner that you know you're very happy with because you're having feelings for someone else. Because like I said, this is pretty common for INFJ and INFP personality types. This frequent occurrence we have of meeting soulmates or multiple soulmates over the course of our life. Now, the thing that really causes a problem for INFJs and INFP personality types with this idea of soulmates is, in our culture, one very particular idea of what a soulmate is pushed and encouraged onto us as sort of like the way it should be. So in popular culture, this idea of a soulmate, most people believe you only have one, right? There's one soulmate out there for you. You need to meet that person. When you meet that person, they will complete you. You are incomplete until then, and then you meet your soulmate, who's your partner, right? That kind of even goes unsaid, but that's so obvious that it's right there. Your soulmate is your partner. And once you meet that person, you are completed. You are happy. You've reached this life milestone. Now you are happily partnered and you're right where you should be because you're with your soulmate. Ideally, you're married to your soulmate, right? You live with them. You embark on a life with them where you're a unit, right? Like you live in the same house, you share the same goals, maybe you have children together. Even if you don't have children together, maybe you share a dog or a cat. But you definitely are embarking on this shared life together as partners and as soulmates. So that can happen, and that is one type of soulmate, but that's just one type of soulmate. There are a lot of different types of soulmates out there, and the definition of soulmate does not necessarily equal the definition of life partner. And this is where a lot of INFJ and INFP personality types get really mixed up, because we have this experience over the course of our lives of meeting multiple soulmates. So what happens is that when we meet a soulmate, we will usually immediately assume this person could be a partner, or this person should be a partner. That tends to come into our mind too. This person should be a partner. I have such strong feelings for them. I feel magnetized toward them. I'm definitely in love with them. We have so much in common. We're on the same wavelength. They really see me in a way that I haven't ever felt seen before. And, maybe I'm doing the same for them, right? Like I'm really seeing them and validating them in a way that they've never experienced before. So this definitely will end up in some sort of partnership. So that's where the trouble comes in, is really believing that the definition of soulmate equals the definition of partner or life partner, because it doesn't. Like I said, there are many different types of soulmates. A soulmate is someone who you have a contract with or you have an agreement with to come together and work on a life project together. Now that doesn't mean it lasts the duration of your lifetime. A life project doesn't have to be 50 years or even 10 years. A life project means it's a really important project for the evolution of your life. So a life project could last a month. It could last a week, right? It could be one really supercharged experience that you have one night or in the span of 1 hour that changes everything for you, that shifts you forward, that changes your mindset, that helps you grow and evolve. That's a life project. A soulmate is someone who comes in and they have an agreement with you to help you execute that life project or to assist you in that life project or you're going to join forces and learn and grow together because you both have this life project you're working on. So a soulmate doesn't always have to be romantic. A soulmate can be a really great friend, right? A soulmate sometimes can be an enemy, in my opinion. Sometimes you can have someone who's an enemy who really changes your life and really challenges you to grow and evolve in a way that you otherwise wouldn't have if you had never come into contact with that person. So there can be all sorts of different soulmates. Sometimes a soulmate can be so short-lived that they just come in and they pivot you, right? It's like they pick you up off the chessboard and they put you down in another location. So the game goes on, but now the strategy is different. Now it's a different game being played because that person, whatever it was, through their actions or the circumstances that you met them, some event you went through together, they pivoted your life, right? They took you off the path you were on, or they changed your direction on that path, so you started going another way, or you started going off into an entirely different track. That can be a type of soulmate too. And like I said, that can be really short-lived. That could happen in the space of 1 hour, really. You know, that could be like, I was on one track in my life. It was the 1960s. I was hitchhiking and someone picked me up in their car. We had an hour-long conversation. They dropped me off and my life was never the same again, right? Like they got me to think about things differently, or they put a different idea into my head, or they opened up possibilities that I had never seen before, right? That can be a type of soulmate too. So the soulmate that I'm dealing with in this video is primarily romantic, but I just wanted to put that little explanation there because a soulmate doesn't always have to be romantic. But in this video, I am talking about the romantic type of soulmate. What many INFJ and INFP personality types tend to run into over and over again is when they experience a relationship with a soulmate and it is romantic, they automatically leap to the conclusion this person should be a partner, or this person is going to be a partner. I have a life agreement with this person. A lifetime agreement, a partner agreement, it can overlap with someone being a soulmate, but it is not necessary for someone to be a soulmate. A lot of times, a romantic soulmate will come into an INFJ or an INFP's life and they are not meant to be a partner. You don't have a life agreement with that person. They're not meant to stick around for the next 30, 40, 50 years. It is meant to be short-lived. Short-lived could be 5 months, it could be 5 years, right? And even if it is 5 years, they won't necessarily play a partner role in your life during those 5 years. So they are a soulmate, it is romantic, they are in your life for 5 years. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you or they want them to take on the label of partner. Girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, just partner, spouse, whatever it is, that doesn't necessarily mean that that label or that role is going to fit. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to live with that person or that you should share living space with that person. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to adopt a dog or cat together or have children together. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to function as a unit and have shared goals in life together as you would with someone who had consciously decided they wanted to play that partner role out with you. So that's really important to keep in mind because a lot of times when we meet these romantic soulmates, it's such a magical experience and it can be such a wonderful experience that you really will treasure all the days of your life. When someone that special comes into your life, you feel seen by them, they feel seen by you, you feel like there's a meeting of minds, there's a meeting of hearts, you're on the same wavelength, and you're really feeling that almost like euphoria, that breakthrough into new levels of consciousness. I've mentioned this in other videos before that INF personality types tend to become very creatively inspired when they are connecting with a soulmate. So they're writing a lot of poetry, or they finally started their book, or they're painting again, or they're dancing again. So it can be very intense and pleasurable when this kind of soulmate experience comes into your life. However, if you're sitting off to the side and you're overthinking it, and you've decided in your mind, well, they have to be a partner, this is a life agreement, they're the one, and you're really trying to shove them into this box of being a partner when they don't want to be in that box, they're not supposed to go in that box, it's not actually best for you if they're in that box, that partner role doesn't fit. but you're trying to shove them into it anyway because your mind can't understand it any other way. Your mind is like, no, soulmate equals life agreement, soulmate equals partner, right? So if that's true, then why do I have such intense feelings for this person? Why are we having this really intense love affair? But there's so many problems, it seems, getting them to be my partner. That doesn't seem to be becoming a reality. There seems to be a lot of blocks in that area. We can't ever seem to get it together to move in together. We can't ever seem to get it together to make a big commitment as a couple. And I don't understand why, because I know my feelings for them are very deep and are very real and are very intense. So that is usually what's going on, is that you're not meant to have a partner relationship with that person. You don't have a life agreement with them. You have a soulmate agreement, yes, but it's a different short-term kind of contract where you're coming together to work on something, and once that's done, you will most likely part ways. Maybe you'll still stay friends, and maybe you'll even have a continuous soulmate relationship over years and years and years. But as I said, that doesn't necessarily mean you will live together or even live in the same town or have this shared goals or have children together and all of that. So if you are struggling in this kind of soulmate relationship with someone, and you're like, I don't really understand why we seem to be so blocked, or why I can't seem to accept it, or I'm always upset with them, it's not what I want it to be, really stand back and take a look and ask yourself, do I intuitively feel like I have a partner agreement with this person? Does it feel right that they are supposed to be a partner to me? Is that the type of relationship we are supposed to play out together? Now, I do want to make the distinction. This is not the same thing as something being a toxic relationship, right? Sometimes you do have a partner agreement with somebody, you have a soulmate agreement with somebody, but they are so wounded, or they are dealing with so much trauma, either in their past or their current state of existence, that they can't show up in that way. They can't show up as a partner. They can't show up as a support. They can't show up as an emotionally aware and healthy human being. So then it becomes toxic, right? Then like you're still hanging on to this idea of, they're supposed to be my partner. We have a life agreement together. They're supposed to be my spouse, but they can't stop drinking. They can't stop doing drugs. They have mental health issues they're not dealing with. They're not confronting, right? Or they have some other thing that's linked to trauma that they're not willing to work on healing. They're not willing to shift in that way right now. They're just not interested. So you hanging on to someone who's in the throes of that, who's really in their wound and doesn't have any interest at this time of moving out of it, that's a toxic relationship. That's different. You can have a soulmate relationship with someone, a romantic soulmate relationship, and really look at that and say, okay, they're not going to be a partner. We're not going to live together. We don't have shared goals, but we do have this romantic soulmate relationship, and it's not toxic. It's actually very nourishing for both of us when we are able to come together. We're going to continue to lead our independent lives, and we're going to check in with each other maybe every 2 years, maybe every 5 years, or maybe we're just doing this thing short term and then we will ultimately part ways and never speak again. But our experience together is ultimately positive. It's beneficial for both of us. There is mutual respect. There's mutual support. I feel like I'm able to be seen and heard by them. They feel like they're able to be seen and heard by me. That's not a toxic relationship. So you can see in this realm for INFJ and INFP personality types, there's a lot of gray areas and there's a lot of layers to this. It's not as simple at all as popular culture would make it out to be. That sort of standard story that the traditional cultural narrative we're all fed, right? That's sort of like in the romantic comedy movie of, well, you have a soulmate and they're out there and there's one person and you just have to meet them. And once you meet them, you're together and they're your partner and that's it. Now you're happy. That's not true. I mean, sometimes it's true. It can be true, but that's not true. I would say for the majority of people, honestly, on the planet, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot more complications that come in. There's a lot more nuance to the whole process. So if you are having this sort of stickiness around a romantic relationship with someone, really take some time by yourself to unpack it and really try to shift into neutral about it, right? Let go of your expectations, let go of that thing you think you so badly need from them. I need you to be my partner. I need you to move in with me. I need us to be married. I need this and this and this. And I need you to be in this partner role. Really back up from that and be truthful and ask yourself, are they supposed to be playing the partner role in my life? Does that even feel right? Does that even feel relevant? Does that feel like it fits? You know, based on what I know about them and our dynamic together and the way we are as people, it might not fit. And you might be able to see that once you can back up and you can get some neutrality on the situation and say, oh, I see that we're soulmates. I see that we're really here to help each other grow and evolve, and we're going to continue to do that. However, we're not meant to be together as partners, and that's okay. If this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe to my channel. I do all sorts of videos on INFJ and INFP life and what's that like. I do some videos on writing, creativity, intuition, all sorts of good stuff. Please also sign up for my newsletter. I teach frequent classes on all sorts of topics, and my classes are a great place to meet other INFJs and other INFPs. Yes, they exist. They're out there. They're in the world. They are quietly out there in the world, sort of hiding, but a lot of them show up to my classes. So please sign up for my newsletter because you'll get all the good information on future classes coming up. I also send out resources, recommendations, all kinds of stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in today, everyone. I'll see you next time.